Welcome to what is, as far as pretty overcast days in the Midlands go, a pretty cool day, because we're down at Top 555 to do a feature, and being such cool guys, they've said we can just take our pick from anything they've got. So join me inside and let's choose something. Right, we're inside now. I'm a little bit spoilt for choice, so I'm going to run you through the things that have sort of tickled my fancy. First off, Jag Project 7, it looks awesome in British racing green. That engine, roof off, that's all you really need to say about that, isn't it? Behind me we've got the SF90, 1000 horsepower. I kind of love to experience that much power, but I think we're going to choose something with a bit more noise. Now this, I would love a go in this. I absolutely love the V12 Vantage. One of 101 Roadsters, sound epic, manual box, awesome car. Now we're talking 996 RS. I think if we hadn't done one of these fairly recently, I'll be all over that one. It's a special thing, isn't it? How cool is this? This is the penultimate 300 SL Roadster ever made. Oh, I'd love a go. Speciale, we know what the deal is with these. They're just one of the great drivers' cars. Then keeping the theme with Ferrari, very different to a Speciale, but it is also special, Super America, with that really cool folding carbon and glass roof. And then this. This gives me the tingles, GT3 MR. Oh, it's just so special. It's got a JCR exhaust. Can you imagine how that's gonna sound? Really wanna choose that. Not going to, but they promised us we might get a little drive in it later on anyway. Now, if the MR gives me the tingles, I don't know what this gives me. A 997 GT3 RS 4 litre. One of my absolute favorite cars I've ever driven. Unfortunately, it's sold, so we can't do that. There's also a car to my left that I would absolutely kill for a drive in, but unfortunately, it's not for sale at the moment, so I'm just gonna have to drool over it instead. So after all that choice, this is what I've chosen. And I know some of you are gonna be saying I'm pretty mad because I could have chosen things at 3 times the price, but hear me out. I just think this is a ridiculously cool car for the money. 6.2 litre V8 is an absolutely legendary engine. There's only 73 of them in the UK, so it's pretty rare. 115 grand, I just think it's a really special car for the money. So let's take it out and see if it lives up to that. So, on the road in the SLS Roadster, and point number one, I know it's got no Gullwing doors. That's what makes the SLS so famous. But the sun's trying to show its face. We've got the roof off, and I think that's why the SLS Roadster is actually quite appealing. Because you can hear so much more of that 6.2 V8. All these naughty little cracks. So we've got 563 horsepower. It's actually not that heavy despite feeling like such a big car. 1,660 kilos. That's only 40 kilos more than the Gullwing. Fun fact, nearly half a ton lighter than a new C63, which is just bizarre to me. So yeah, whilst 563 horsepower is not loads and loads and loads by these days, it is plenty. It feels fast and it's so grunty all the way through the revs. Having that much displacement, you've just got torque for days and instant response. You're not waiting for any turbos to spool up here. And they're not robbing any noise either. So part of the, oh my God. So part of the reason, if the car stops interrupting me, I chose this to drive as much as it hurt me to turn down the GT3 MR, is because we've got a WhatsApp group for our members where they chat cars and just nerd out all the time. And we're seeing more and more people going back to this era of car, whether it's a 430 Scud, a 997 GT3, 599, the Aston V12s from that era with that epic naturally aspirated engine. And loads of people are wanting cars with this 6.2 V8. Yeah, more than fast enough. Sounds insane. So this is the M159 V8, which is derived from the M156 that was in the C63 back in the day. But it's dry sumped instead of wet sumped. Forged pistons and some other slightly strengthened internals, but it's got a different sound to it. Coming out of corners, that instant response means it's pretty lively. Gearbox, it's a 7-speed dual clutch. Actually the same hardware as in a Ferrari 458 in the California. It doesn't feel the same though. Mercedes tuned it more for longevity than outright shift speed and aggression. And you can kind of tell it's not bad. It's probably better than I remember it. But when you ask it to do two things at once, 1, 2, it takes a while to catch up, but it's not bad. Handling, well, it's interesting because you sat right on that rear axle. Huge bonnet out in front of you, so you've got this strange sensation when you turn that the front end is like out there. But we've got hydraulic power steering, which is great. We've got adaptive dampers, and the ride's actually really nice around town. Oh, those cracks. But get them in sport mode now, it's fairly flat. Yeah, the hydraulic power steering feels really natural. It's not artificially sharp like I think a lot of modern cars are. So it's not a 1010s car, but it's pretty good. It's pretty flat. And more than anything, the most important part is fun. I'm not absolutely flying, but I'm loving life. And I think it lends itself to that top-down character where you could be in the south of France with a lot more sunshine than this. And it's not some wallowy cruiser, but it's really comfortable. And you can just get your foot down, maybe 7/10s, going pretty quick. Oh, you have noises like that. And it's just great. It's just got such a unique character to it. Nothing else really feels like an SLS. And there will never be anything else that feels like an SLS because no one makes engines like this anymore. Brakes, they're decent too. It does feel pretty wide. I think that's the main thing, it does handle well. It's more just a difficult car to judge. Do wish the gearbox was that bit sharper. But it's got so much torque that it kind of doesn't really matter what gear you're in. No, this is just such a nice car at any speed. I mean, when you settle it down like now, you can back the dampers off into comfort mode. Super nice, actually super quiet, believe it or not. And then with this AMG button here, you can save your favorite damper and gearbox settings. So one push, good to go again. And it's nice to have these quality looking sort of metal silver dials, like actual analog dials, not just a big screen. Again, it lends itself to that sort of old school, muscly experience. But more than anything, it's the engine that does that. Yeah, the latest cars are so fast, but how fast can you really go? You know, I haven't even pushed this to its limits. What you want is feel. You want emotion, you want noise. And right now I'm going 40 miles an hour and I've got noise, I've got emotion. You can see why people are going back to these cars, whether it's to replace the modern stuff or whether it's to just go alongside so you've got something different where you don't have to be absolutely hammering it to get anything from it. But it is great if you hammer it as well. I can see why people want cars like this. It is an awesome experience. It's a unique character, and there are only 73 in the UK. Frankly, I think it's a bit of a bargain. So that bundle of angry noises is the SLS Roadster. Now you've got to remember, this thing weighs 1/3 of a ton less than the new AMG GT, so it's not the big lazy lump you might think it is. It actually really hangs together. And let's be honest, anything with that engine is just intoxicating. It feels special all the time, no matter what speed you're going. All right, as you've just seen from me getting out, it hasn't got the big Gullwing doors, but you pay about 80 grand more for a Gullwing. It's not as rare as this, and let's be honest, when you're in the driver's seat and listening to that noise with the top down, you don't care that your doors don't go like that. Value, frankly, I think given that it is so much cheaper than a Gullwing, it is cracking value for money. Given that there never was anything like it, there never will be anything like it again, and just how rare it is. It's not typically my sort of thing. I'd usually go for something a bit lighter and smaller. After driving it, I want one.